On behalf of John Hardin High School and Mr. Wells, we welcome all of you to the Veterans Day ceremony. We will start off with the posting of the collars. Please stand. National anthem will be played by the John Hardin Band. Please be seated. Veterans, Mr. Wells, distinguished guests, Sergeant Major Jones, student and staff, welcome to the Veterans Day program. We are glad to have all of you here, particularly our veterans that are serving in our country and our veterans thereof. Thank you for allowing the John Hardin family to honor you on this national holiday. Not only does John Hardin High School staff wish to honor you today, but we wish to also take the opportunity to teach the students about the service and respect. At this time, the choir will sing some songs.
Fly for the ride.
Have another good hand for that choir. Good job. The students in front of you are the men and women who have sacrificed time, effort, and in some cases their health to protect our country as we know it, and in a world of people that are unable to protect themselves. Here at John Hardin, we often talk about the word respect. Student staff, let's agree here this morning that we both individually and as a school will do what we can and take the opportunity to present ourselves to show the utmost respect for our veterans. Veterans Day was held on November 11th in 1919. It was originally Armistice Day. It was later named Veterans Day by Congress in 1938, and in 1954, President Eisenhower made it a national holiday. Ever wonder why the Veterans Day is on the 11th of November? And it does not change. World War I ended on the 11th month, on the 11th day, and the 11th hour. Fighting stopped in World War I in Europe. This day is the day we pay honor and remembrance of those who have served, fought for this great nation throughout the years, from the start of this great nation to the day as we have them stand in front of us. If you're from World War II, please stand up. Do we have anybody out there? Most of you may realize most of them are getting old like me. They're in their 80s. We don't have any World War I veterans left, very many of them either. Korean veterans, got any of those out there? Vietnam veterans, please stand. Thank you. Persian Gulf. Afghanistan. Thank you. Iraq. Thank you. As you can see, we have many different veterans from many different conflicts. All of them have served, all of them gave some, and many of them that can't be with us today gave all. Today, there are still 83,000 Americans missing in action. 73,000 from World War I alone. From World War II, we had about that many as well, total number. From Vietnam, we had 7,974 from Korea, 126 from the Cold War, 1,657 from the Vietnam War. Currently, we have 10 from the Iraq and Afghanistan conflict. And every day we have soldiers that are going in harm's way. May God forever watch over them and protect them and their families. At this time, John Hardin High School Junior ROTC Battalion Commander Daniel Valletta is going to describe the symbolism of the prisoners of war in the MIA table that you have in front of you. Daniel.
Good morning, Bulldog family. I would like to draw everyone's attention to the table located to my right. This is our prisoner of war and missing in action table. The tradition of setting a separate table in honor of our prisoners of war and missing members of the armed forces has been in place since the end of the Vietnam War. The manner in which the table is decorated is full of special symbols to help us remember our brothers and sisters in arms. The POW MIA table is smaller than others, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner alone against his or her oppressors. The white tablecloth draped over the table represents the purity of their response to our country's call to arms. The empty chair depicts an unknown face, representing no specific soldier, sailor, airman, or Marine, but all who are not with us. The table itself is round, to show that our concern for them is everlasting. On the plate, there lies a slice of lemon and a pinch of salt. The slice of lemon lies on the plate to remind us of the bitter fate of those captured and missing in a foreign land. The pinch of salt upon the plate symbolizes the tears endured by those missing and their families who seek answers. Cadet First Lieutenant Amanda Circle is inverting the glass upon the table. This inverted glass is symbolic of the prisoners of war and missing in action's inability to share this day with us. Cadet First Lieutenant Ray Reno is placing the single rose. This rose reminds us of their families and loved ones. The red ribbon wrapped around the rose represents the love of our country, which inspired them to answer the nation's call. Cadet Second Lieutenant Regal Fonseca Mena is placing the black napkin. This napkin stands for the emptiness these warriors have left in the hearts of their families and friends. A purple heart can be pinned to the napkin. Cadet First Lieutenant Travis Yates is promptly placing the Bible. This Bible represents the faith in a higher power and the pledge to our country, founded as one nation under God. Cadet Major Christopher Hamilton is lighting the white candle. This candle and its white ribbon is reminiscent of the light of hope which lives in our hearts to illuminate their way home, away from their captors, to the open arms of a grateful nation. On this day, the table reminds us never to forget these soldiers who we have lost and helps us honor the memory of them. Will you please join me in a moment of silence? Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker for the day. Command Sergeant Major Retired Alonzo Jones. As you can see, Sergeant Major Jones has traveled much and has many awards. Most of you, I gave you a handout, so we didn't go over all of it. It's much too numerous to talk about as we hear. Many of the awards, as you can see, and he has a lot of them. I will mention only a few. The Legion of Merit, the Bronze Star, Combat Infantry's Badge, the Master Parachute Badge, to name but a few. After enlisting in the United States Army in August of 1954, he went on to serve many adventurous and interesting assignments. All told, he gave the United States Army 35 years of continuous service. Dedication, outstanding years. One of his greatest honors was in 2018 being inducted to the Kentucky Veterans Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to present Command Sergeant Major Retired Jones.
Mr. Wells, faculty, commander, Sergeant Major Robinson. I got to tell you before I get started here, I'm a year late. In 2017, my granddaughter who lives in Atlanta called me and she picked up her son from school and he was crying. She teaches at a school that he does not attend. And she asked him why. And he said, nobody came to see me at Veterans Day. And I promised him in 2017 that I would be there 2018. So you got outranked. You got outranked by my grandson. Sergeant Major Robinson evidently had read some of my comments, but you're going to hear it again. I will not deviate. This day, which began as Armistice Day, was originally set as a U.S. legal holiday to honor the end of World War I, which officially took place on November the 11th, 1918, in legislation that was passed in 1938. November the 11th was dedicated to cause of world peace, and hereafter celebrated and was known as Armistice Day, as he mentioned. This new legal holiday honored World War I veterans. In 1954, after having been through World War I and the Korean War, the 83rd U.S. Congress, at the urging of veterans organizations, amended the Act of 1938 by striking out the word armistice and inserting the word veterans. With the approval of this honor, those who serve and now serve in uniform, as well as those who died in service to this great country. Thomas Paine said, and I quote, "Those who expect to reap the blessings of freedom must undergo the fatigue of supporting it." Many of you here today have borne that burden and experienced the fatigue of waging war in order to bring about peace. To you, I say thank you. Thank you for setting the example that inspired me and my peers to raise our hands in voluntary service to this great nation. That shared service joined us together as no other bond. The camaraderie we share in military service helps define us. I can honestly say that the time I spent in the U.S. Army was the best times of my life. Even after I left the Army, it will stay with me and define me until the day I die. I've always thought Veterans Day got the short end of the stick, holiday-wise, and I'll explain that to you later. For many Americans, there is no official day off work for Veterans Day, as there is for the July 4th holiday. And many people view Memorial Day as the official day to pay tribute to the service members from the various branches of the armed forces who have given their lives in service to this nation. And yet this day, Veterans Day, serves a very important purpose. It is a day we recognize not just those who have given their lives in war, but all those who worn the uniform of service. This day, above all, is an opportunity to celebrate the choice ones make to serve their country. For some, it means the worldwide conflict of World War II, or a lifetime of peacekeeping missions, or the tense standoff of the Cold War. Others in the jungles of Vietnam and in Korea, Panama, and other conflicts in which we have asked the military to serve over the years. And of course, we can't forget today, for many service members, multiple tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. on active duty as reservists and guard members who sacrifice twice when they leave their civilian jobs to serve this nation. Roughly 1% of our population serves the military. And as we consider the impact those individuals have had on the world, defending freedom and protecting democracy. Winston Churchill once said, and I quote, "Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few." Today, to honor that debt, I would ask you to take time to honor service members, past, present, and at the last one for several years, and we're doing that today. But this is a small segment. First, volunteer to help a veteran or service member, regardless of whether you are a veteran or not. We have many wounded veterans in the world who need our compassion and our support. Find a way to help them, whether through Veterans Affairs offices or state, local governments, outreach programs. Given that we as a nation are at war today, there are many families and communities over the country who would use help, which would need a helping hand. For many of those on deployment, knowing that their families are receiving support while they are serving in the armed forces can bring reassurance and peace of mind. There are dozens of ways you can show your support for our nation's heroes. And having served 2 tours in Vietnam, it was a joy knowing that my family was being taken care of while I was trying to keep my body in one piece. Second, make an effort to promote military service for youth, you cadets. In a time of war, volunteers of service is hard to find. But I think promoting military service goes beyond that. We need to do a better job in letting our younger generation know that the military is a viable and valuable career opportunity with unlimited possibilities. And finally, if you're a vet, please share your story with others. Let everyone know that what you've done so they can see the many faces of military service and appreciate the personal service of their neighbors. If you're not a vet, find someone in your life who is a vet and ask them about their service, or simply say, thank you. The more we talk about what we do and the impact military service has on our lives, the better able we are to hold it up as an example of excellence. We have many more examples of courage, service, and sacrifice to reflect on today. Let us use this opportunity now and on Veterans Day in the years to come to celebrate service to our nation, to demonstrate the appreciation we have for our military, and to inspire future generations to dedicate themselves in the name of the many who have come on before them. And as Thomas Jefferson said, the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. Today we give thanks to live in a country where citizens of every generation willingly and courageously raise their hands to stand the watch. For all those veterans here today, thank you for your service and your sacrifice. Share the pride you feel in being able to count yourself among the 1%, the greatest military in the world. For all of those not in the military, thank you for choosing to share this special day with us and share your support for our heroes, past and present. If you remember, I said early on that I thought Veterans Day got the short end of the stick on holidays. You students, do your math here. I'm going to give you some dates. This coming July 4th, we will celebrate the 242nd birthday of this nation. July, August the 4th, 230 years for the Coast Guard. September the 19th, U.S. Air Force will celebrate 73rd year. October the 13th, U.S. Navy birthday, 245 years. June 14th, we'll come back to that one, do that one last. November the 10th, U.S. Marines, 245 years. December the 13th, the National Guard. June 4th, all of these and June 14th birthdays are celebrated within the confines of their military installations. June 14th is the Army's birthday, 245 years. So that tells you, it should tell you, that if it wasn't for the Army, which all other services came from, there would be no United States of America. And that's why I say, I think we get shorted on the holidays. Thank you for being here. And let me tell you, it was an honor for me to be a member of an organization that made this country free. Thank you.
To conclude the presentation today, we're going to have the veterans stand up, and we're going to escort them out of the gym just like we came in. As they're leaving, please stand, give them the applause that we appreciate them being here and taking their time, and we appreciate the students watching, learning, and being respectful to our veterans. Thank you. Please stand.